So far this year, most of the events I've attended have been free or I've been getting paid for them, aka the Dubai real estate events, which are paid gigs for me. So, okay, if we can sum up one of my biggest takeaways that I want you to keep in mind from this live stream, if you're also kind of in the level up game or you want to, network and get into rooms with higher net worth people, things like that, social climbing. That's the term I was looking for. If you are also on a social climbing journey of your own, I would like to state that, well, in addition to everything that I've been teaching so far on this channel, for the most part, what I realized is that anything that is paid, any event paid, I'm going to speak in general terms. Okay, so of course there's going to be exceptions. There's also like nuance to consider, like nuanced circumstances. But in general, I have found, okay, throughout 7 months of doing this hardcore in 2026, I found that anything that requires the participant to pay a significant entry fee or a participation fee, those typically offer the least amount of value back to the participant. I mean, it's just a logical conclusion, right? The fact that they have to charge people to attend their events means that they're trying to create value out of nothing. They're trying to create the illusion that, hey, our group is valuable. The context that we're going to provide to you, the events, the networking opportunities that our group provides to you, it's valuable. So valuable that we're going to attach this price point to it. Like, let's say it's a membership club and you have to pay $500 in membership fees every month. And on top of that, the events are paid, right? Or maybe some events are free for members, but other ones, they still have paid events. So just think about it logically. By the very nature of them having to assign a monetary value to their product, that alone means that it's probably not valuable to begin with. It probably doesn't have any inherent value, because anything that has inherent value, why would you have to convince somebody to pay X amount for it? You know what I'm trying to say? And any group that has to sell you the idea that their product or their group, their event is worth the ticket of $50, $100, $500, whatever. That is a huge indicator in most cases, right? Again, we're generalizing here. But in most cases, that's a huge indicator that the product was never valuable to begin with. That's why they have to hold out to you so that you can pay them. And by you paying them, you're giving legitimacy to their project or their event. Unbeknownst to you, right? If you're new to this thing, if you're kind of like a novice, then especially for women, because I hate to say it, but a lot of women are really, really easily convinced and easily have the wool pulled over their eyes by advertising, especially when it comes to, especially when they hit on a lot of those areas that many women have wounding, right? Like groups that promise sisterhood type of bonds or groups that promise really fast advancement in your career. All these topics are things that a lot of women, a lot of times, are in a very vulnerable state of mind when it comes to, because these are all things that like most women, especially if we're on a level up journey, we're trying to improve these things in our lives, right? And we are into, maybe we've been burned in the past in certain areas as well, like friendship with other women or being passed over for promotions that we deserve or for a raise that we deserved, being passed over and having that extra money or that extra opportunity going to someone who is less deserving than us because nice or something like that. So these are all wounds that if you're not self-aware and you are not, actively working on yourself to heal of your own accord, this is all ripe, territory for emotional manipulation, okay? For brands, groups, networking groups, social groups out here to take advantage of. They're masters at playing on these wounds and insecurities in women to get you to open your wallet and hand your money to them. But I'm telling you right now, from my real applied experience so far this year, I've come to realize that it really is true, or I've come to, I confirmed, my suspicion all along that it really is the case that anything that has to justify themselves to you as to why you should pay to attend their event or to join their group, that means that there is not much intrinsic value in the group itself. If there was intrinsic value in the group, they wouldn't have to hold out their hand so blatantly to get you to pay them in order to legitimize their service or their offering, right? Anything that has actual intrinsic value, it's very obvious to anyone in the vicinity that's vibrating in the same vibration. And so anything that has intrinsic value, it knows that, sorry, I'm like struggling to word this because we're kind of getting a little esoteric here, but don't worry, I'm going to give a concrete example very soon with my recount of the Dubai real estate seminars. But anything that has intrinsic value, just think about it, right? It confident in its value, right? It doesn't have to convince anyone. It doesn't have to get a validation from anyone because it already knows, it's already embodied in the identity of I am something of value. I can bring good fortune or really, really positive things into people's lives. And so it doesn't have to rely on like deceptive or aggressive marketing tactics because it knows that real recognizes real, right? People who are already on that vibration, who are seeking that level of value will naturally find them. They will naturally notice, oh, hey, this thing is the real deal. Okay, I see that this is like a huge opportunity or it has a lot of value. So I'm going to invest in thing. And the investment is going to come naturally, right? Whether it's in the form of money or time or just like efforts from, all the groups to try and to keep this thing going. It doesn't have to be bigger, dressed up in fake designer clothes. You know what I mean? I don't know if this analogy is hitting, but okay. So for example, right, let's apply this to, let me just use the Dubai seminars as a actual example. So every single Dubai real estate seminar so far, I get paid, first of all, to be there because I joined through an event company that hires me to be a receptionist at these seminars to help, collect the business cards and write down all the contact information. I make people sign their name, their email, their phone number, etc. into an in sheet. So I collect everyone's information, and in return for that value that I bring to the table, the events company, like one of the companies that is involved in this production, pays me real cold hard cash for my contribution, right? Because they have the money already to give out to me, which means that they already have value, right? So we're using, money as the physical manifestation value in this example, but it's not just money, right? But money is the most tangible example. So do you see how, why would they need me, let alone pay in the seminar? Why would they need me to even volunteer my time for free, right? A lot of groups also depend on volunteers from their membership. They call on people to volunteer their time or volunteer their cooking skills, volunteer their event planning skills to help out the organization. But actually, it's not it comes at a cost to you if you're one of those members that volunteers your gifts to a certain organization, because you're essentially agreeing to do pro bono work for them, right? So again, it proves that the organization itself doesn't have value. The value comes from whatever you have to offer as a member. Otherwise, they'd be holding out their hand to you like a beggar on the street. So that's how I can tell, despite we mentioned in the past some of the more unsavory characters, right? Not a lot, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Oink oink. Looks like a pig, sounds like a pig, talks like a pig, and if you put a lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. So despite certain unpleasant people like Miss Piggy that I have encountered through doing this Dubai real estate seminar gig for the better part of a year, since November of last year, still the overall operation, I know without a doubt, it has a lot of value, okay? It has a lot of potential. It has a lot of real value into real people's lives, okay? To people who are in the international real estate business here in Japan. People of all nationalities, all ages, the people that turn up to these events, right? Not only that, but you can see there is concrete proof that they have intrinsic value because they actually have enough physical cash reserves to pay people, okay, to bring my skills to the table, to bring my little piece of the puzzle of making the whole work. And they didn't require me to do it pro bono. They pay me for it properly. You understand what I'm trying to say? So in addition to that, okay, so last month, right? I think this last month, or was it? Oh no, this was all in July, you guys. We are in July. There's like 2 more days left in July. This month of July felt like 3 months, and I'm getting whiplash. I can't even. But so, out of my history or my association with this Dubai real estate seminar gig, actually invited by Big Sis. You guys remember from Company D. She's one of the cool ones, although she said some weird stuff to me that we're gonna get into later on. Remind me if I forget to talk about it. So Big Sis, right? She's good, but I realized that I do have to I have to limit my interaction with her because she demonstrated some behavior to me that kind of indicated that she was, I don't want to say threatened by me. This is all happening at the subconscious level. Like, she wasn't consciously doing anything and she didn't say anything malicious to me, but there were a few comments that she made to me that I've been on this earth long enough. I've had enough interactions with other women to recognize when I see it a sign of a woman feeling threatened by me, or just like they can't reconcile in their minds that I am as capable as I am, or I can be all the things that I am at the same time. Cute, pretty, successful, smart, clever, you know, not to toot my own horn, but and every other woman can be like this too. This is the thing. I don't place myself above anyone, but yeah, a lot of times, like when certain women meet me, they like me a lot at first because they're like, oh my god, she's so pretty and cute and fun. But then if they're not as equally confident in themselves and their own abilities and their own attractiveness, cracks start to show sooner or later, if you know what I mean. But we'll get to that in a second. So out of all of these Dubai seminars, I managed to make contacts, even though Miss Piggy turned out to be a total dud and like an awful person, and I still don't know what her problem is, even after being at so many events with her now. At this point, seeing her like kind of have bipolar disorder. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make light of mental health, but I really feel like she has some sort of disorder. It's been funny though, to say the least, to watch her struggle between like her obvious disgust for me, but then at the same time forcing herself to play nice because she knows that I'm pretty much the only person that they can call on to do the receptionist gig. So anyway, her aside, I did manage to make some actual valuable contacts throughout these gigs, right? So one of the most valuable ones to come out of showing up every time for one of these gigs whenever they came into town, no matter how much I didn't feel like it, no matter how much I was already exhausted from my day job, the fact that eventually they held an event on Friday a couple weeks ago. It was the 17th of, it was like a huge blowout event held by Company D to celebrate the opening of the second Chelsea residences in Dubai, in Tokyo, right? So it was a PR event essentially, and Big Sis invited me to come to basically sit at her table as a guest. So for that night, I actually was not on duty, right? I was a guest of Big Sis because like they get credit for the amount of people, the number of people that they're able to register for the event. So she was asking me, because like, okay, let me tell you. So I did one event on the 11th for them, right? That was kind of like a press event for Company D, which is the Dubai developer. I think we all know what Company D is, but you know, just for the sake of being discreet, we're just going to refer to it as Company D. It's one of the biggest, if not the number one biggest real estate developer in Dubai. The other one is MR, you know. Anyway, so Company D had kind of like a press event with Company, I forgot the name. There's a bunch of Japanese bridge real estate partner with Company D, right? This is how they started to sell seriously to the high net worth individual market here in Japan. So yeah, Company D collaborated with this local brokerage firm that I ever worked with before on the 11th, right? That was Saturday. So I worked that one. Although there wasn't really much for me to do because it was more of like just an open seminar. Like they had, you know, celebrities literally on stage. Happy to catch your light. I'm happy that you're here, Silver. Yeah, you. Oh my god. So yeah, the 11th was kind of like interesting because it wasn't like the typical all-day session. Usually they have an all-day session where people can make appointments with the individual agents to actually consult about like which properties they want to buy in Dubai. Once in a while they'll have different types of events. So on the 11th, it was more of an event for like local real estate industry people, right? So not necessarily the end buyer, but like people involved in wealth management or international real estate here in Japan, people that run their own brokerages, things like that. As a result, there wasn't actually much for me to do on the 11th because there wasn't like individual consultations, parties coming in for consultations that I could record down and, you know, take their information like I usually do. So I had to like just, helped the service people who were already there. It was already other staff assigned to serving the food and things like that. But since I didn't have much to do and Miss Piggy was there and I didn't want to deal with like her being a bitch for no reason, I would just help out the service people or help collect trash, little things like that. But for the most part, it was really, really light work in terms of the actual labor. Also, there was a new guy that was added to their team. So he's actually a local Emirati guy, and he actually turned out to be a really, really good contact as well. We got along really well, and he even sat at the reception desk with me at some of the subsequent traditional type of seminar days the next weekend. So we'll call him EUE boy because he's kind of on the young side. He's like 26, but he's also in sales. And I think like they made a good move to start bringing him on their roadshows here in Japan, because he would wear his kandora every day, like the white Arab outfit, and that it's not something that you see often here in Japan, right? So it's actually quite effective, I think, as well, because like local people here in Japan are not used to it, and they usually get very excited and very happy to see like a real local Emirati, right? And of course, he's literally just a Gen Z boy like the rest of them, but because he got out in the full kandora, and I took a couple pictures with him too. You probably already saw it on my other socials. Because of like the visuals, I think it brings more legitimacy somehow to the average buyer's mind here in Japan. So they're stepping up their PR. They stayed a long time this time. Well, I don't know their exact business dates, but I know that I was involved in the event on the 11th. And then also there was that party, the PR party by Company D on the 17th, which was Friday. That was the one where Big Sis invited me as her guest. So I was not there as a guest. So you know that I showed out, and I mogged in my dress. And then 18th and 19th, right after the big party by Company D, those were regular seminar days. So I worked those days, and I almost like lost my mind because I would have actually minded if we didn't happen to also have the 20th off in Japan as a national holiday. So the 20th was Monday, right? So they were here from like at least the 11th to the 20th, 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks this time, which I think is the longest trip they've ever taken this year. So that tells you that this whole niche is really, really amping up. Like to successfully get a lot of eyeballs on it. And you can tell kind of the difference this time too, because like I said, even with the first event with the local brokerage company on the 11th, they brought in like celebrities, they brought in this Shohei Ohtani impersonator, like a bunch of Japanese baseball player impersonators to do this kind of skit on stage to just fill in, I guess, for times when the main speakers were were taking a break or something. They would have like, the comedy skit actors distract the crowd. It was funny because I told you I didn't really know what to do, right? Because it wasn't like a typical seminar event. They weren't private consultations with people at that event. It was more like PR, all these people talking on stage. I think there was like a Z-list celebrity that I don't even know because I don't keep up with celebrities. I don't care. I'm the celebrity in my life. But I remember when I put up some clips on my stories on Instagram, some people like in my real life circle DM'd me like, oh my God, so-and-so was there, DJ so-and-so, apparently he's a DJ. And he was talking about how he bought 2 properties in Dubai a while ago. And like, he was explaining how it was PR, right? Or why it's a good idea for Japanese investors to invest in Dubai real estate right now. So why not bring in, a Z-list celebrity that already owns property in Dubai? And he was telling people about how like, oh, there's a lot of misconceptions in Japan. Like a lot of my cohorts here, they were asking me, losing money because of the war with Iran. And I had to correct them and say that, no, actually, you don't understand. The UAE dollar, no, that's not the term. The dirham, right, in the UAE is tied directly to the US dollar, the petrol dollar, as they call it, right? So since the US dollar is rising in value against the yen, or maybe it's the other way around, maybe the yen is just dropping in value against the US dollar, my investment portfolio over there acted up in value just based on the exchange rates alone. So it really doesn't have anything to do with the Iran situation. Like obviously it would be even more valuable, I guess, without the whole war happening. But as far as like the actual value of my investment in Dubai, it's up.
最近めちゃくちゃ言われることなんですけど、ドバイに不動産買ってて損したんじゃないですか、だって戦争してるしみたいなことめっちゃ言われるんですよ。で、僕は多分4年ぐらい前にビジネスベイのところを購入しました。2軒で買って、でどうだったか、 結論からすると、そもそも為替が日本の為替からすると 1.5 倍に上がってるんですよ、為替が。なんでもう為替益が出てるから、だから損しないんですよと思いません？そうです。
So then after the presentation was over, right, there wasn't anything for me to do. You know, the venue, the cleaning people were already cleaning things up. They didn't really need my help, even though I tried. So I also just started to kind of walk around and like I was minding my business. People started to actually meet me. So there were two guys that approached me. One of them was, okay, I kid you not, like I could tell that he was wearing makeup when I first saw him. But then I also, again, I didn't care because, you know, I don't care about celebrities or anything like that, but he was there pretty early, ever since the event started. When I saw him, I had a fleeting thought in my mind that, oh, is that some sort of K-pop star or is that like a B-level idol? Because that's the kind of look he was giving off, like a K-pop boy band member. And because there were other actual like celebrities and comedians and stuff at this event, I thought like maybe he's actually, you know, part of some sort of underground group or up and coming group. So then he actually, after the event was over and people were just milling around and exchanging business cards, at this point I didn't have my own business card, right? Because I was still like at this event, I was technically still, you know, the help or the receptionist. So I didn't have anything on me, but he like approached me out of nowhere and he was like, hey, you know, what's up? What's your name? Blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, why is he talking to me? Of course he's going to talk to me. Of course people want to approach me because then I had to remember who I am. Like, duh, obviously you look amazing. Like, no matter what you're wearing, even though I was wearing like my Star Trek dress, I like to call it. It's the one that I wear whenever I need like a semi-uniform looking kind of outfit, but it still looks very nice, right? It's very like fitted and it shows off my figure and stuff. So I was looking very polished and he was asking me, like I told him that, oh, actually, you know, I'm just with the crew essentially, right? Like I'm here to help out. And he was like, oh, I thought you were just a regular attendee. And then he told me that actually, I have his card, but this is not even the guy of interest, you guys. This is not even Red Business Card Guy, okay? Because the next one that approached me was Red Business Card Guy. We're gonna get into him later. Spoiler alert, the connection goes nowhere, but you know, maybe you guys can give me some insight on it because I'm kind of annoyed, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm kind of miffed about the whole thing. But now, where was K-pop idol guy? I don't know why I'm looking for his business card because it's not like I can show it to you and then you guys are gonna like call him, or some troll out there is gonna call him and harass him to ruin my entire reputation in Tokyo. But oh, okay, well I can't show you, but this is his business card, K-pop guy. So he just works for like a regular local real estate firm and he looks really young. I was 20s, so obviously like there's no interest there on my part or anything, but I thought it was really nice that he kind of like broke the ice and introduced himself to me. Yeah, he was like, oh, do you like makeup? Because like I really like makeup. And then we talked about our favorite foundations and it looked really good. He was wearing like it didn't look like or anything, it looked like K-pop male superstar. That's what it was giving. And he had like the physique and everything too. So turns out he was a real estate guy. And then I didn't see this guy later on because again, I think he's too young. Like I asked him if he ever went to do, and he was like, oh no, I just came because I thought it was interesting and I wanted to like educate myself more so that I can potentially introduce more options to my customers, things like that. So yeah, I actually never ended up seeing this guy again because he also doesn't have his personal number on this card, or else I would have added him on WhatsApp, but that was cool. And then right after this guy, okay, in comes a Red Business Card, which I also can't show you, but just to show you proof that I'm not making this up, slides into my personal space. You know how they say slide into the DMs? This guy did like a physical, just slid into my personal space, like right across from me, not in a creepy way though. And he was like, hey, nice to meet you. And then I was looking at him like, okay, I think later on I saw him again, right? I saw him again at the big party debacle on the 17th. But let me just tell you what happened because it really is a nothing burger of a story and I'm kind of annoyed if I'm gonna be honest with you. So this guy is a Japanese national, but he works for a Singaporean private equity company, private banking. So you already know, like, I can get down with a guy that works in private banking, yeah. And from our short conversation, you know, I wasn't like trying to pry too much into his business, but he's pretty well traveled, right? Like he works for a Singaporean company, but lives in Japan most of the time, I guess, or half the time. Also has been to Dubai several times. And he also, I don't know if he owns property or has an apartment, but he at least an apartment in Ras Al Khaimah, which, if you recall, is actually where I went to take my picture with the huge white tiger, the one where I was feeding him with a milk bottle. So I was like, I'm intrigued. And he wasn't totally unfortunate to look at, you know? It was kind of like, I love how my litmus test for men is that they don't disgust me. Like, his looks aren't totally disgusting to me. That's pretty much where the bar is at for me, you know? Because 99% of men, I can't get with it. No matter how good looking they might be, even conventional standards, like K-pop guy, for example, I'm sure a lot of you girlies on my channel, if you saw this guy, I can't show his business card because I'm not trying to dox anyone, but if you saw the K-pop guy, you would definitely be fiending or something. I don't know what the kids say these days, but you would definitely be interested. Why? For the life of me, I can't really understand, because those types of guys can't do anything for you except, I don't know, share their foundation with you. More than likely, they'll just steal your makeup though and use all of your expensive makeup up without replacing it, right? But no, red business card guy, I was intrigued, okay? I will admit I was intrigued. And he had that slight, like 10%. Am I gonna get canceled? Okay, no, I'm gonna private this later anyway. I forgot. That's what I do these days. I tell all my business, lay it all out on Front Street, and then I private the video. That's what I do. So, hi, Aveline, honey. Good morning, evening, ladies. Hello. Thank you for joining me today, and bear with me while I get back in the swing of things. This life is such a hot mess, but I'm having so much fun, and this is why I'm so pissed off, okay? Every time that stuff happens that prevents me from staying on schedule with my live streams, because selfishly, it's just so much fun for me. Like, I don't like it when I have to post. But anyway, we're here now, and that's all that matters, okay? Yes, girl. Yes. No, but red business card guy, what was I saying? We're all girls in here, right? And you know that I don't mean any offense to any group of people, but he has that like 10% autistic quality to him, like that slightly, you know, awkward, but still confident enough to walk up to me, you know, still confident enough to just whip out his business card and hand it to me like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm so-and-so, red business card, and here I am. But like awkward, you know, 10% kind of like awkward and not really knowing what to say. But then like the fact that he works in private banking and lives on at least 3 continents, it shows me that he is competent, you know? Like, I'm sorry, you can call me old-fashioned, but I not mind like good old toxic masculinity. Not in the sense of, you know, extreme cases like DV or whatever, of course not, but I'm talking about the type of toxic masculinity where, you know, maybe they're a little avoidant or they don't know how to express their feelings. I actually prefer that. Like, I'm sorry, not sorry. I don't like it when men talk too much about their feelings. Like, what are you doing? Just focus on making money, which is what he's doing with his private banking gig. Hello. And also, the fact that like he was confident enough to approach me, but then like still awkward with, you know, the conversation that followed, that kind of intrigued me a little bit, because it pisses me off when they're too smooth with the conversation, right? Because that lets me know that, okay, you're just used to, you're just, you know, trying to see how many fish you can catch, right? I'm just another fish that you're trying your little tactics on and you're smooth talking on. But when they're kind of like genuinely a little bit awkward, that's kind of attractive to me, because I'm like, oh, so you don't actually do this to every single girl. It must be that like maybe you actually like, you know? So that intrigued me. Yes, I did go home and I stalked him and I couldn't find a single thing. You guys, okay, the only thing I was able to locate of this man, one Facebook account with one picture, and the picture looked like it was some sort of screen grab of a Zoom meeting or something. Like, it wasn't a high resolution picture and he wasn't even looking directly in the camera. He was just kind of looking to the side. That same picture was the picture that he used. So it was only that one picture on his Facebook account that was public, at least, and it wasn't updated for like several years. Well, I don't remember when his latest was. I didn't go that deep. Okay, I'm not that. But I was intrigued, right? And I like to do background searches on people. And we should all, as a woman, we all reserve the right of doing CIA levels of background searches on anyone that we come into contact with. Okay? Notwithstanding certain red business card men that might slide in our DMs or slide in our line of vision, literally, at an actual event. It's for safety reasons, okay? Safety. So anyway, I found one Facebook account and then one LinkedIn account with the same like screen grab of Zoom meeting over his photo for his LinkedIn profile. He didn't have any type of resume or anything on his LinkedIn, just one line in Japanese, like private banking. no Instagram. I could not. I searched every which way, like all different combinations of. I have the same name right here on the business card. I tried searching his name in English. I tried searching it in katakana, and I couldn't find anything on Instagram. So either he has no Instagram or maybe he has a burner account, which is fine by me. That's a green flag as far as I'm concerned, because why are you a grown man out here having it like an Instagram account for actual, peacocking purposes? Ew, gross. Okay. I'm not like strict to a point where I can't date anyone that has any Instagram account. They can have an account, but anything above like the 32 followers, no, I can't do it. I'm not interested. All of a sudden, like I'm disgusted. Because why are you connecting with people on social media like I do, the girl? Social media is for the girl, okay? What could you possibly be doing on social media? I know you're not making money because people are not paying you just for existing or for being hot and a baddie the way that they do to women, as they should. So why would you possibly need to do with a public Instagram or social media account, right? Green flag is what I'm trying to say. No Instagram whatsoever that is at least, revealing of his identity. If he has an Instagram account, it's probably just like super private burner account for viewing purposes. This was the 11th, right? When I was like trying to pretend to, be a part of the food service and cleanup crew. Why did the comments disappear? Oh wait, no, I got back. Okay. Off topic, but whenever you start talking about work, I get excited knowing that there are jobs out there with real networking opportunities that aren't totally brain numbing. Yes. Oh, and that's also like part of what this live is about too, even though I'm talking about, a little side quest right now. But this is also, I think, falls under that umbrella, right? Because this is not my main job, but it's a steady side gig that I have been picking up since November. Although it's not it's not a fast process, okay? It's not a get rich quick, go to one event and meet a billionaire and ride off into the sunset on his favorite jet. It's not like that. You have to keep showing up, okay? And you have to keep doing trial and error. There's gonna be slow days. There's gonna be days where you feel like, okay, I didn't get any wins today, but that's where your strategy and your analyzation skills, all of your inner work as well, like believe it or not, it's all interconnected. This is why like you have to constantly be keeping at the forefront of your mind or of your daily practices, especially as a woman. You have to practice affirmations of, self-worth and not needing validation from the outside, because that is what's going to ultimately ground you. It's going to help facilitate your inner compass to direct you, intuitively towards the opportunities, towards the events that actually could potentially bear fruit, and steer you away from the ones that are just smoke and mirrors, the ones that promise you a million things, but they don't actually deliver, right? Or worse yet, they straight up blatantly ask you to pay to take part in their activity. If somebody asks you to pay, if someone has to feed off of your contribution as just a member of the public, right? Like you don't have any obligation to this organization. You are for these people. You're not bound by a contract the way that I am when I sign up to do these gigs. Then just think about it from an objective perspective. Like if it looks like a scam, if it walks and talks like a scam, it's probably a scam. Because what networking opportunity that actually has something of value to offer needs to shout and advertise from the mountaintops and beg people to, pay to attend their little dinky event? Things that already have intrinsic value, they actually, more often than not, they do the opposite, right? Like either they don't advertise at all because they know that just by them existing, it's already causing buzz, right? It's already causing talk in the industry and word of mouth spreads fast, or they might even try to like hide it, right? They try to keep themselves exclusive because they know that they have real value within the confines of, their pendulum or their structure, their group, whatever you want to call it, the four walls of whatever secret venue that they decide to hold their functions. Actual, like real exclusive events with real movers and shakers that participate in them, more often than not, they have to heavily protect themselves, and screen the persons that want to participate in the event or come to the event. You have to screen out freeloaders and the people that are just there to take advantage or take without giving anything of value back in return. When I say it that way, it comes off very logical and makes a lot of sense, right? And it's somehow the reason that we often tend to forget as women is because when you're out there actually in the field and when you actually face to face with these organizations, they're very, very crafty. They know exactly how to play on your insecurities and your hopes and desires to manipulate you into thinking that there's something bigger than what the reality is. It's like a Wizard of Oz, right? He uses like that mechanical contraption and he amplifies his voice. He uses that like puppet, or the huge larger than life puppet, to try to convince people of his power, when the reality is that he doesn't even know how to do magic, as Elphaba had a rude awakening to after finally meeting him, after dreaming about meeting him for her entire life, and then come to the rude awakening that, oh, this guy is just a total fraud. He doesn't actually have any power. The only power that he holds is in the perception that he was able to manipulate all the residents of Munchkin Land, or whatever. No, Emerald City, into believing. So anyway, Red business card guy. I actually I was invited by Big Sis to go to the Company D party on Friday the 17th, right? And that was like stressful. Well, I don't want to say stressful. It was fun, but it was stressful because I had to deal with actual work, from Monday to Friday, or no, from Monday to Thursday, and then took a day off that Friday. But you want to know the crazy thing? I took off the 17th long before I knew any of the dates of like this round of the Dubai real estate roadshows. So again, the universe seemed to have just aligned itself for me in this case. But yeah, I took off the 17th a while ago for whatever reason. Oh yeah, because the 20th was a day off, Monday. So I wanted to just have a little 4-day weekend for myself. But then turns out I had to go to the Company D party and then work 2 days in a row at the regular seminars after that, to the point where I could barely get out of bed on Monday the 20th, and then on the 21st I had to go back to my day job and start another week all over again without any AC in the middle of a heat wave. Yeah, with all that stuff that happened I just described in the first hour of this live. But anywho, so after the 11th, right? After I meet Red business card. And again, I didn't have my business cards on me. I didn't own any business cards at the time, but this is what prompted me to get off my ass and just make any type of business card whatsoever. Because I didn't want to use, obviously I'm not going to use my business card for my job at these events, but I said to myself, after all those people approached me on the 11th, I was like, you know what? This has gone on too long and you can't put this off any longer. You need to make sort of general business card that you can hand out to people at these types of networking events, because what if they want to contact you? It doesn't make any sense, especially since a lot of these people who approach me, let's be honest, are men. So if they give me their business card but I don't have anything to give back to them, the only way for us to ever come in contact again is if I contact them first, and I don't do that as a feminine woman. Even in business, I don't do that, right? Because you're giving up your power if you're the first one to approach. But then how would they approach me if they don't have a business card for me? So it's kind of like, you see what I'm saying? I'm shooting myself in the foot here by not having a business card. So I did, I showed you guys this in my vlog, but I made call a society card. It only has my contact information. It doesn't really have, an actual title. Nothing generic like business networking, guest relation, whatever. Just a generic thing. And at first, so I did this last minute Thursday night before the big party in Canva. After I got them, I started to kind of guess if I should have put another picture on the back, because I feel like the front is fine. It's standard for a lot of people here to put their picture on their business card, even men. This was actually, okay, you guys want to know a funny story? This was a photo shoot I took with some matchmaking agency, I think, that I joined, or I went in for an interview earlier this year, I think February or something. So they had to take pictures of me to put on their website. I did not get a single date or anything that I so whatever. But we alchemize every experience to our advantage. Right? So as far as I'm concerned, that was a free photo shoot, a professional photo shoot. So now I use these photos for professional reasons. Or maybe I shouldn't tell you guys, because then someone could watch this and image search. But anyway, I'm kind of second guessing whether I should put a full body picture on the back, because now I feel like this is giving call girl vibes. But maybe I don't care, because I can't help it that I look good, But maybe it's overkill. It doesn't matter. I can always reprint, because these were so cheap anyway. It was 100 copies, 400 something yen. Crazy. And it's full color. You can see. I'll hold it back here so that no one can see my info. And I can reprint anytime. I can redesign the card and print new cards. I can have 10 different cards if I want to for multiple occasions. This is truly, why did I wait so long to do this? You know why? It was the mental block. Okay, I was afraid to be seen, right? Because once I have a business card, that makes it real, right? Makes it an actual possibility that these businessmen, these circles could actually contact me, which they have already, by the way. I have a date scheduled for tomorrow. Not with Red Business Guy. So like I said, that one fizzled out pretty quickly, but thank you. Oh my God, why doesn't it show the message for more than a few seconds? I don't like that. But someone said that they liked my card. Thank you for saying that. Eli Lilly, one of my regulars. Okay, I'm just gonna use it until they run out, and then maybe I'll do like a more subdued later on. But yeah, I also got this whole ordeal, this adventure prompted me to get a new business card holder from Samantha Devasa, which I haven't purchased anything from this brand in over 10 years. Now I'm questioning why, because they actually have pretty good stuff, and a lot of their things are made with real leather, including this card holder. And in fact, there's so many pockets in this one. It's like so convenient that I've actually been just using this as kind of a mini wallet ever since I purchased it, because it's just so convenient, and I barely use cash anymore. I just have a card, and then I have my residence card in case I need it for like staying in hotels and stuff, my business card, and all the guys' business cards that I collected on the 17th. So anyway, yeah, so after the 11th, right, that was the first event. Big Sis invites me to the event on the 17th, which I'm really thankful to her for. And she's actually one of like the more valuable contacts that I've made throughout this whole ordeal. But I have to tell you something that made me sad about Big Sis. So after the first event, I went back to Big Sis's hotel room with another girl. Oh, so there's another girl in Tokyo. She's Chinese national, I believe. She's kind of like me. She's lived here for like 10 plus years, and she works in real estate, right? So that's why she knows this. So she's not part of Company D or anything, but she has like real estate clients here, high net worth individual clients in Japan that she could potentially sell Dubai to. So she's in Big Sis, right? And she came over to hang out. I recognized her actually, and she recognized me from one of the previous Dubai seminars. When was it? I'm like, this year has been such a blur. That was like in May of this year. So I definitely remember she came to one of the first seminars in May with Company A. So we were hanging out in Big Sis's room, and Big Sis, I don't know, like, okay, on one hand, I don't blame her at all, and I don't think she has, bad intentions or anything, but I'm definitely going to keep my distance from now on. So we all went out to dinner as a group. We went with UAE Boy as well, and then another agent from Company D, who we will call Olive Oil, because she's like very tall and skinny. We went to dinner without Miss Piggy, because apparently Miss Piggy was actually like quite sick on the last trip, and she was in and out of the hospital. She couldn't make it to dinner with us, which was fine with me, or else I wouldn't have gone if she was there. But yeah, I went with Big Sis and a bunch of other people from Company D and her local real estate friend here. We'll call her Princess, because that's the vibes she was giving me. She's so cute, like such a girl's girl. I love most of the girls I met, except for Miss Piggy. But after dinner, yeah, we went back to, it was just us three girls, me, Big Sis, and Princess, went back to Big Sis's hotel room to chill for a while. We wanted to go clubbing afterwards. I was like, I don't go to clubs unless I'm getting paid. Like no tea, no shade. So I'm gonna stay with you guys until the last train, because I like hanging out with you guys, but I'm gonna bounce, right, at around 10:30 p.m. and then you guys can go clubbing all night if you want to, if you're about that life. I'm not about that life unless I'm getting paid. So that was that. But Big Sis started saying things to me that kind of like raised a red flag in my mind. So on the one hand, I want to reiterate, I think she is a really good person. Like, she has a really good heart at the end of the day. And I understand that, it looks glamorous and everything, and they throw all these parties. And like the party on the 17th in particular was really huge, and the blowout event. However, why is there always some shenanigans going on outside my window, even if in a hotel on the other side of town? So I understand that, it looks glamorous, like they're jet setting between Dubai and Tokyo, and they're doing all these glamorous events, but like, make no mistake that is a grueling job. It's why I haven't, like, if I wanted to, I could have really pushed for someone in one of those companies, either Company D or Company A. I pushed for them to like hire me or something if I really wanted to change my life, change my industry and everything. Wanted a change of scenery, let's say. But amongst other reasons, like a big thing that holds me back is that I'm not sure that I would actually, be happy with this type of lifestyle, at least not for a full-time gig, right? I do like to kind of fantasize about the idea that I could do it part-time or just as a freelancer. We'll see. I mean, I think it's too early to tell, but if I just continue to, attend more of these events, as long as I keep good standing with Big Sis, I think she'll keep inviting me to the events that are more like social gatherings, not for work, right, as a guest. That's really valuable to me. But yeah, back to how she was acting a little weird though that day or that night in her hotel. So I understand that they're like stressed, right, and they're jet lagged. Honestly, they're better than me. I would not even be in the mental state to be having people over at my hotel room or be going out to the club because my friend wanted to have me as a plus one. Like I'm sorry, when I travel, I need my alone time. I need my space. Even when I'm not traveling, right? Like even this current situation with my AC broken and I'm still, I'm doing just my regular job here. The office is in Ginza, but I get to work from home most of the time. Like it's pretty comfortable comparatively speaking. But even then, right? Like I wouldn't, if I had a bunch of friends from out of town, I wouldn't just invite them to come over to my hotel room after I work. Like, no. I need all the free time, like every last second I can get to do my self-care and stuff and to do my social media if I want to. So yeah, that alone, I'm like, okay, I know that she has like a good heart, but okay, I'm just gonna say it. Up until now, she hasn't really seen me in action, right? She's only ever seen me in the role of the receptionist. So I think because of that, it made me come off as like a very non-threatening character to her. Non-threatening as in, I'm not here trying to threaten anyone, but in a lot of women's minds, they have this kind of hierarchical thinking that as long as they're like above you on the totem pole in some way, then it's okay. So I think like up until this trip, she's only seen me in the receptionist role, aka a lower role than her, which is why she was so, I guess, enamored with me in the beginning, Remember I told you that she was really praising like my style. She was getting all up in my face like, oh my God, I love your makeup, I love your eyelashes, where did you get them? I love your earrings. Oh, and I bought her like the pair of Shein earrings I had on that she kept complimenting. I went ahead and bought a pair of her and I gave them to her this time on her trip in July, right? So she was like really happy about that. But I think she saw like a bunch of guys approach me on the 11th, right? The one where I was technically also gonna do reception duties, except there was no one to sign in because it was just kind of like a general public, or like it was just kind of a PR event with an audience watching celebrities and experts talking on stage. The guys that approached me, including Red Business Card guy, they approached me first, right? Just out of the blue, without me even, like I didn't even have a business card or anything to give back, but they like came to me. And then I remember, because she was also doing her own with people, but whenever she would walk past me talking to one of the guys, I would stop her so that I could, hand over the guy that I was talking with to her as a contact, right? Because she's there on business. She's working for Company D. And I like, okay, I don't even have a business card, so why not just give these contacts to Big Sis? That's fine with me. I'm not going to give them to Miss Piggy, of course. No, she can go to hell. I'll never lift a finger to make anything easier for the likes of Piggy. But Big Sis, yeah, sure, I'm going to help her get contacts, right? Especially because, again, I knew that she was trying to drum up as many people as possible for this party on the 17th. We'll just call it the ball. Like, she was kind of, I could see she was a little surprised every time that I would stop her when she realized that I was actually, effortlessly kind of mingling with the crowd and effortless talking one-on-one with these real estate guys. And she kind of elbowed me in between one of the conversations. She was like, oh, hey, good for you. You're actually like, wow, you can actually hold your own, that type of a vibe. It wasn't weird at that point, right? Because I was like, oh, good. I feel good. I feel like, okay, we're all helping each other out. I'm getting something out of it and I'm able to also add value to her, right? Because she's like, I understand like she must be stressed as well. She has certain quotas and KPIs or whatever that she needs to fill. So that's one of the reasons why she was like, hey, can I just put you down, please, as a guest for the 17th? Like, can you please confirm that you're going to come? Because I think she wanted, it looks better if you have more people under your name. But then afterwards, that same night, right, I had dinner with the group of girls from Company D, and then I went over to her hotel room, and she started saying certain things that yeah, again, it set off kind of an alarm in my head. So for example, she was like, oh, and I probably should not have talked about this because like this probably gave her mission, because I was saying that I was kind of expressing satisfaction with my current job or the current pay or the state of the Japanese yen value in general. I was complaining about how it just keeps going down, and I would love to get like if I could find a role that pays in USD, or if I could find a job in Dubai that pays more, I would take it in a heartbeat, because like Japan is a sinking ship and yada. Well, I wasn't being that dramatic, but in terms of Japanese yen value though, it really is that serious though to me. Like I'm not the only one that's saying this. Okay, a lot of foreigners right now in Japan are echoing my sentiment, because it's like, what is the merit of us continuing to work our ass off here if the yen value keeps dropping lower and lower? Because we're effectively just trapping ourselves in Japan then. It's like pretty soon, if it keeps going down at this rate, I'm not going to be able to go anywhere except for Japan. Oh no, my steak is too juicy. My lobster is too buttery. I'm going to be stuck in Japan. No, but seriously though, like for foreigners or people who have lives across different continents, different countries, does not bode well for us in the future. Okay, I'm trying to think like 5, 10, 20 years out, and so I'm not happy with it, and I'm not just going to go along with it. There's other options for me out there. So I kind of expressed this to her, like we're just all having kind of an intellectual conversation about the state of economy worldwide. And she said to me, she was like, oh, why don't you come work in Dubai? You could work at a duty-free shop at Dubai International Airport. And I was like, why would you say that to me? Like, no shade at all to airport duty-free shop workers. It's honest work and, more power to them. But I'm a little bit above that level. Like, what do you mean? I'm mid-career, and I definitely command a higher salary than something that a role that would offer. And plus, if your intent was to actually like help me or point me in the right direction, and you already work for Company D, which is one of the biggest real estate developers in Dubai, if your intent was to really help me out or give me an actual option, why wouldn't you just say like, oh, I can introduce someone at Company D, or I can ask the hiring manager, I can put you in contact with the hiring manager to see whether or not there's any positions that could match up with your skills, right? I just thought it was kind of strange, because it was a stark contrast from the previous time that she was here, when she was singing my praises and like telling me how, oh, I don't think you would ever find a job, Ren, because you're so talented, like you're so skilled. I think you could pick up anything and work anywhere you wanted to. Yeah, so now all of a sudden it goes from that to like, oh, well, you could just work at the duty-free shop and start off there. And I was like, I don't think I would want to go for that though. Like if it was between that and here in Japan, I'm definitely getting paid more in my current job as a project manager. And she was like, yeah, but in Dubai, you have to like prove yourself though. You have to start from the bottom. So then I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. There's a couple other instances too. So for example, she started saying something about, she was like, oh yeah, so Ren, like, do you live here alone, or like, what's the deal? How long have you been here? Do you have family here, etc.? I'm like, yeah, no, I live alone. Like, I've been in Tokyo for 13 years. It's similar to her. She also lived in Tokyo for like 13 years before she went to Dubai. Big sis is 39, by the way, right? I'm 36. So she kept trying to say at one point, she was like, oh, I think we're like the same age. We're pretty much the same age. And I was like, okay, I mean, I don't offense to anything, but it was kind of becoming obvious to me that maybe, okay, I can't prove it for sure, but I think she was basically threatened by seeing how much I was able to mingle with ease with what were basically like her target potential clients, right? Because all the people that attend these events, she is trying to get them into her Rolodex. And not only that, but she's trying to build like a business relationship with them to bring more commission for herself. But I think she felt kind of threatened seeing how I didn't even try. Like, I didn't approach anyone. I wasn't selling myself to anyone, but they were just magnetized to me because, I'm an attractive girl, and most of these people are men with a lot of money that have nothing to lose by approaching an attractive girl to talk to her, whether or not she's involved in their business or not, right? Like in that case, I was just the help. But sorry, let me read some of these comments. Yeah, in my experience, you got to make it happen for yourself. Observe someone else's situation if you like it and make it happen for you. Someone says to me, Amazon warehouse work, dissing my experience, not looking down on hard labor or work, but I've done hard work in my youth and I want a better life. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, I just think it's kind of weird, and I felt like it was an obvious, like, kind of unconscious way of her to express how she was feeling threatened. Yeah, so then after that, I was kind of like, okay, you know, she hasn't backstabbed me or done anything yet. And after that, she was still quite very nice to me. Like at the party on the 17th when I showed up, all of the tables had labels of different names of the, so I sat down at one of the tables with her name on it, and I remember when she was mingling and talking with her clients for the most part, but then when she saw me, she was, oh my god, like, you're so beautiful, thank you so much for coming. So I think, like, from now on, I need to just kind of keep a boundary with her, right? Like, don't go to her hotel room basically after her dinner. Even at dinner, she started to act kind of weird, which is fine, you know, I understand she's under stress, but that comment really threw me off about how I should start off by working at a duty-free shop at Dubai International Airport and prove myself by working my way up. I think it was kind of like a jab, whether intentional, whether conscious or not conscious. It was definitely a jab at me because maybe she feels some type of way about how I didn't have to do anything for those guys to approach me and for Red Business Card to, you know. I have to finish the story about Red Business Card. Oh my god, you guys, it is so anticlimactic. Like, I'm actually still kind of annoyed. But yeah, it kind of made me sad. I was like, oh no, okay. So here's the universal law coming into play again. You know, here's the program playing itself out again. It never loses, right? I guess it really is true. You cannot really get too close with women that are not at least on your same level of confidence and attractiveness. Else they're gonna start feeling some type of way at some point down the line. And whether or not it actually, you know, culminates into some sort of malicious act towards you, they're gonna express it in some way, and it's just not going to be a pleasant experience. Ignore her. No, like, yeah, she kept trying to say to me that, she was like, oh, but aren't you lonely in Tokyo by yourself? Like, I remember when I was so lonely, even when I was dating or in a relationship with someone, I still felt alone. Like, don't you feel lonely? I felt like it was so weird. Like, okay, obviously, yes, I understand what she's talking about. Like, that is kind of a social, you know, issue in Japan, hikikomori and the loneliness epidemic, not just Japan, all over the world. But I understand what she's saying. Tokyo can definitely be a very isolating city, and it can be very hard for certain people to make friends. But I felt really uncomfortable with the way that she was just trying to, like, she was trying to get me to say out of my own mouth that, oh yeah, I am lonely. Like, basically, I'm a loser. And it's like, okay, even though, yes, of course, I go through certain issues like other people, I don't view myself through that type of victim lens. And I sit here and just go along with this narrative that you're trying to create, that I'm just so lonely and like having a miserable time here in Tokyo. Like, no, I make my own destiny and my own happiness. Thank you very much. Like, I have a whole ass YouTube channel and social media community. I've had friends come and go out of my life, you know. I've had heartbreaks. I've had a cat that I loved and passed away, and currently, you know, another cat. Maxine is my second cat, as you guys know, if you've been a long time follower of me. You know, I've lost my dad, so AKA I'm going through life events just like everyone else. It happens to be in Tokyo, but it would also, like, the sucky parts about life would still suck if it happened in any other city. So I don't really buy into that whole narrative about I'm just gonna blame everything on, you know, Japanese culture or the rigid society that makes it difficult for foreigners to make friends. I understand what she was trying to say, but I felt like it was not in good faith. I felt like the energy behind it was that she really wanted to kind of like take me down a peg and paint me out at, like, have me admit that I'm struggling in Tokyo, which, no, I'm not gonna like admit that to you, especially if I feel like if you're trying to make me look bad in order to assuage go, like, I'm not gonna play into that. I can do fine for myself, thank you very much, and I don't have a victim mindset, and I still look good no matter what I've been through. So even in the middle of the heat wave and without, like, I don't have my ironing tools or anything, and I have minimal makeup with me, but I still look this cute, okay? No filter, excuse me, no filter. Check the waistline, okay? The waist is still snatched. Like, even though I'm pigging out right now on my second bag of junk food after 2 dinners today, like, I don't know what you want me to say. I guess I'm just naturally a baddie. I guess I just naturally overcome things. Sorry that I don't fit your logic that I should be like struggling and crying my eyes out every night, right? Because I'm alone here, you know, by myself. So those two instances really kind of like put me off on her for a bit. From that point on, I decided that, okay, I'm gonna limit my communication with her, you know? And I also think that, again, as long as I keep that boundary, I think I can kind of control the way that she responds to me as well. Because I think the minute that I get a little bit too close to her or in her personal space, like we were in her hotel room that night, that's when she started to not be able to control her little outbursts towards me, because she was feeling threatened for whatever reason. So I can't prove any of this, you know, but I feel like what other explanation is there? If you went from praising me and like complimenting my style, commenting my skills and all of that, to suggesting that I work at an entry-level job at Dubai International Airport, and suggesting that, you know, I'm delusional for thinking that I don't have to prove myself. And first of all, that's not what I said. You know, I was saying that if I moved to Dubai, I would want to do it in the most strategic way possible, which is what all the smart people do, right? Like, why there to it's not about thinking that I'm too good for a certain type of work or whatever, but it's just, I'm thinking about my future, right? I'm thinking like 10, 20 years in the future. So if I take an entry-level job now when I don't have to, that's effectively career suicide. Sorry to use that term, but why would anyone in their right mind do that when they have other options available to them? When I already work for Chanel, like, I think she feels some type of way about that too, and I probably shouldn't have told her that, but anyway. Okay, so red business card guy. So I didn't have my society card yet, right? You went to Cornell, good for that work. It's not, no. Okay, I don't think I'm too good, right? I actually, because I think all work is a scam. You know, like, I don't think that we should be working like slaves anyway, 24/7, the way that this current society, this current system is set up. I don't think of any work as like inherently better than others. I only see positions that are underpaid and positions that pay more. That's it. And I feel like every act their wage, essentially. So if you're getting paid minimum wage, I have no problem if you put in the minimum amount of effort, as long as you're not nasty to me, you know, if you're facing me as a customer. But it's not about being too good, right? Like, work itself, the idea that you have to qualify or you have to prove yourself or you have to be worthy of a role, I don't even subscribe to that logic. It's a matter of strategy for my own life, right? Like, I'm already at this position, you know, I managed to be here, okay, as a project manager in Chanel. So why would I like willingly go down here? I wouldn't even to afford like a rent in Dubai, first of all, if I worked at a duty-free shop. Whereas if I just stay at my position here, I can at least afford to live comfortably in Tokyo and take a few trips to Dubai every year, you know, provided that disaster doesn't happen. It was just an outburst on her part is what I'm getting at. I think because she was threatened by seeing with her own two eyes in front of her how her clients, her prospective clientele, were just gravitating towards me, even though I'm not even part of Company D. I'm not a real estate agent, you know. The red business card guy. Okay, so I didn't give him my card because I didn't have it yet on me. So then I added him on WhatsApp, right? Because I'm like, he probably has WhatsApp if he lives in between Singapore, Dubai, and Tokyo. And like, normally I would never do this, but because I didn't give him, you know, I wasn't able to give him my contact information in exchange, I knew that there was a way for us to connect. And plus, okay, even if I didn't message him, I was pretty sure that he was going to show up anyway to the ball on Friday. So like, yes, I'm Cinderella going to the ball looking for my prince, who turned out to be a dud. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to check if he was going. So I can't check the messages because I'm filming on my phone right now. But basically, I was like, hey, are you going to the ball? That's it. I didn't say that, oh, hey, do you remember me? I'm so-and-so from... No. Like, he knows who I am, okay? He'll know as soon as he sees, you know, the WhatsApp icon. So you guys, I'm trying to give you game as well. If you're like a girly and you fail at talking to men, this is how you talk to them, right? If you must. Talk to them first, which I don't even normally suggest that you reach. But in this case, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna ask him if he's gonna go, because why not? So then he was like, oh, yeah, I'm going. And then I was like, great, I'll see you there. Smiley face. And then he hearted my message. So then I went, right, to the ball on Friday. And it's funny because I was sitting at a table kind of in the middle of the room. It was the ballroom at Mandarin Oriental Hotel. And he was sitting at a table behind me, right? The presentation and everything did not start yet. So people were still kind of just milling around and talking and chattering. But I was just sitting front and center at the table with Big Sis's name because I don't know anyone there. I'm not a real estate agent. So I was just like, whatever, I'm just here for the vibes. I'm here to bring the vibes. And I'm here to shut it down in my dress. I'm here to make certain pigs squirm and squeal in their seat and be mad. She didn't say hi to me at all at the event, by the way. But yeah, so I was just sitting there, like looking pretty. I feel him tap me on the shoulder because he's like sitting in the table behind me, and he was like, hey, you know, I was looking for you. It was like 30 minutes into the event by that point, but the presentation hadn't started yet, but people already had like hors d'oeuvres and stuff. So yeah, we were all just kind of getting antsy waiting for the presentation to start. Company D, and he was like, hey, I was looking for you. So then we had a little chit chat, and I was like, oh, okay, you're sitting over there. Yeah, let's catch up later once the presentation is over and when they serve the food. So then after, like, I'm not kidding, not even 2 seconds after he retreats to go sit back in his seat, the other guy sitting on the side of me at the same table swarms in, and he's like, oh, hey, can I introduce myself to you? Like, let me give you my business card. And then after that, it was like a flood of guys coming in to basically throw their business cards at me. And as a result, I have the proof right here. This is all the business cards I got, right? So that told me something that like, oh, okay, so in these types of environments, right, sometimes the guys look for, like, some events, a lot of events, depending on, again, the actual intrinsic value proposition of the event, a lot of times, this is based on personal experience, you're not going to get any guys to approach you. Like, guys, women, nobody who doesn't already know you at the time is going to go out of their way to approach you, because everyone is actually there hoping to chase the same dragon, if that makes sense. Like, for example, one of the parties that I went to last month, I don't know if you guys remember, it was like a men's magazine release party, right? That one turned out to be like, I'm sorry, you know, no offense to my friend that invited me. Well, I got an invitation to from one of the guys that is connected with me on Instagram, and he invites me to all these similar types of industry parties. But that event, like, although it was free, the lack of value that it brought into my life actually ended up being a liability for me, in the sense that, you know, I still had to pay, I still had to invest all that time and effort to get myself ready for that magazine launch party. But at the end of the day, I got literally nothing from it. In fact, it went negative in my bank account, because technically I had to pay for transportation there and also a couple of drinks and food and stuff on my own. There was one guy that bought a drink for me, but like the other 2 drinks I bought for myself, and nobody introduced themselves to us because everyone there was already they were just insulated in their own industry. Like, they already knew each other. And the people there, you know, after the event was over, it was very clear to me when I was doing my own debriefing with myself that that type of event, people were all there to basically just like try to raise their own clout, their own stock. When you have an event where everyone there is looking to, you know, just gain clout, then typically what happens is that nobody can really come out with anything of substantial value, especially if you go in as kind of an outsider or a more of like a spontaneous participant. Like, you're not going to get anything out of those events because everyone there is trying to do the same thing. Everyone's trying to be an influencer, so, right? Like, there was a lot of women there that were influencers, so you know that they're not going to introduce themselves to you because they're there to be seen and be fawned over. And then the guys that were there were either like in the magazine industry, so they all knew each other, and the purpose of them all showing up was just to kind of say hi to each other, or it was like friends of, you know, the party organizers. I think there was the one guy, there was like a DJ guy, he was having a birthday or something, I don't know, but like the entertainment people, you know, DJ, the musical acts, the party organizer, the event venue manager, it was that type of a crowd. So in that situation, you're not going to get someone to approach you because they're not there to meet you. They're not there to, what am I trying to say? They're there to try and raise their own profile and basically just take for themselves without giving anything in return, right? Contrast that with the Dubai real estate ball, where you could tell that it was a very, very different type of energy occupying that room. First of all, people there have real money, okay? Like assets, okay, property. Even if they themselves don't have property, they have very, very wealthy clients that they manage their assets and properties for, okay? Red business card guy, he works in private banking, okay? Intern private banking. So that type of a crowd, you're much more likely to get more of a reciprocal kind of energy, if that makes sense. Like, these people are there to make money together, collaborate together so that we can all get rich. Of course, everyone, like at the primal level, everyone is there for their own interest, but they have more to offer in the first place because they're actually people with real assets and real wealth and, real expertise in their industry. They are the movers and shakers of their niche, which is like international high ticket real estate sales to Japanese clients or Japan-based clients. And so in that environment, it was like a stark contrast between that and the magazine party, where everyone was just there to kind of like be an influencer. They wanted to be the celebrity, right? And they wanted to feel like they had a bunch of fans and, whatever, press around them. So they weren't there to give anything back of value. But the Dubai real estate ball, you could tell for sure people were there to mingle. They wanted to exchange cards. They wanted to collaborate with other people. And like, it's funny because a lot of the guys that approached me to give me their business cards, you saw my card. I don't have anything. I don't have any type of impressive title written on it. It literally just says like VIP events or where's my card holder? I literally put like communications or something. Yeah, business networking, okay? My job is beach, essentially, a la Ken from the Barbie movie. Like that's the equivalent of my business card in real life. I basically put my job is beach, my job is socialite. But they don't care, They see like a pretty girl at the ball. Some of them recognized me from previous events where I did the reception work and they were like, oh, hey, I saw you. So this is another important part of high society social climbing. You want to make sure that you are a regular fixture at the events. You have to go to a lot of events. You have to make sure that they see your face there a couple of times so that they can get used to you before they eventually approach you. It's funny because they were telling me, they were like, hey, we should collab sometime, or like, yeah, let's, I'm going to add you online, or I'm going to add you on WeChat, and like, I'll contact you later for business opportunities or something like that. It was funny. But this crowd was definitely not shy about mingling and exchanging contact info. But even then, they didn't do it. I thought it was so interesting, but it makes so much sense how the first guy did not start, or he didn't break the ice with me until he saw the red business card guy talk to me. Because before that, I feel like all of them were kind of just avoiding eye contact with me. And I don't know, they thought I was like a hooker or something. But I don't think I was dressed like a hooker, but who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if like most of these people are married or they have a lot to lose, right? They have their reputation on the line. This is a business event. So I thought it was funny how like, because Red Business Card came up to me after we had that conversation, it kind of helped the other guys let their guard down a little bit, or it let them know, it signaled to them that, oh, hey, she's safe to talk to, like she's part of this crowd. Once they saw that, they all swarmed around me like bees and found out that indeed I'm not a hooker at all. Okay. Not that I'm above that, but maybe not in this lifetime, just because I don't want my mom to heart attack. Anyway. Oh my God. Oh, so Red Business Card guy. He was like, he's not disgusting to me, physically speaking. Like, you could even say that he's kind of my type. He has that 10% autistic quality that I like in guys. I like the guys that are in high earning professions and they like make real money, but they're a little bit awkward and they don't have social media, okay? Which Red Business Card checks off all the boxes. And he saying to me, oh, it was funny because like he was flirting with me pretty heavily, but in an awkward way during most of our conversation. What did he say to me? We were just asking him, where do you usually live? Or like, and he was like, oh, I go back and forth between Japan and Singapore most of the time. And then I was like, oh, but do you also go to the UAE since you always come to these events? He was like, yeah, I have an apartment or I have residence in Ras Al Khaimah. And then I was like, oh my God, I just pet a tiger, a white tiger at Ras Al Khaimah with another dude's money. I didn't put that part in there, but I just used Gingerbread Man's money to help me pet a white tiger in Dubai in January of this year. And then I was like, hey, I've never been to Singapore though. I want to go. And he was like, oh, it's really boring. As far as attractions go, there's only the Merlion. And I was like, oh, well, I still haven't seen the Merlion yet though. So I would still love to go because Singapore is on my list. And he was like, oh, we can go together. And then like we both kind of laughed awkwardly. At one point, he was kind of suggesting to me that like we should go out to dinner. But then I was kind of like, I pulled back a little bit, right? Not because I'm not eating to dinner, but it's just because I'm not gonna like jump completely on your dick through our first conversation. You know what I mean? Like if you suggest that we go to dinner, I'm gonna act coy about it. I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe. But then he was like, oh, are you like not interested? Or no, okay, he said it in Japanese. It makes a lot more sense if I say it in Japanese. It's like, oh, you kind of pulled back there. There's a saying here where, you know how in English we say that, oh, I got turned off, or he gave me the ick. So in Japanese, they say that she pulled away, like hiku, you know, like she kind of pulled her body away because she's turned off. But I think it makes more sense even than the English way of saying it, because it describes like the physical reaction that you have. So he was like, oh, you kind of pulled away there. But I was laughing though, and I was still talking to him. So I did pull away, but not because I'm not interested, but it's just because like I'm not gonna jump up and down with excitement at the version of us possibly going to dinner. Like you have to actually ask me to go to dinner first before I can give you an answer. I'm not one of those girls that like, I don't do that thing where I pick up the slack for the guys, you know, like if they're too timid to directly ask me out to dinner, I'll give you a couple of chances. Like if I like what I see, it's fine. You know, I'll be patient with you. Like you can take your time. You can try again. First don't succeed, first you don't succeed. Dust yourself off and try again. You dust it off and try again, try again. So I was like, yeah, I'm not just gonna, you know, because he didn't ask me directly if I wanted to go to dinner. He was just like, oh, we should go, or like maybe we sometimes. And to me, that doesn't count, right? You have to actually ask. And you have to actually be like, give me a couple of options of what restaurant I want to go to. So I'm like waiting for that. It's not because I don't want to go to dinner at all. I don't know. I think he got intimidated or he felt unsure of himself after that. But I didn't do anything though. That was like his made up narrative in his mind. Like he was projecting onto me that I was pulling back or not actually interested in him. But why would I fucking message you and ask you at this ball if I'm not interested? Like, what is your problem? So then, yeah, near the end of the night, I was taking a bunch of pictures with Big Sis and people in front of like the company D signs and posters and stuff. And then he was walking out of the ballroom because they were like about to kick everyone out, and everyone was still just outside the general area taking pictures. So then he came to me and he was like, oh, hey, I'm leaving now, bye. And I was like, I was in the middle of taking pictures with my friends, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, bye, like, is that it's it? You're not gonna follow up? And he's never followed up since then. So he does a thing where he watches my freaking WhatsApp stories, which I basically like, I'm only posting WhatsApp stories for him now. Yes, I am doing that, and he just watches them and doesn't say anything. So I think I need to just stop posting WhatsApp stories because this is going nowhere. Like, why are you wasting my time? Why did you waste my time like that? And why would you give me your business card if you didn't want to take me out of the job market and finance my entire life and buy real estate for me in Dubai? Like, what is your actual problem? Oh, and he didn't even get desserts for me. So, okay, they had a huge buffet for the dinner after Company D gave their presentation and, you know, appeal to all of their stakeholders about why you should invest in Company D, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's basically just waiting on the edge of their seat for them to announce that the banquet is open, right? So then when they announce that, okay, we're done now and you can get up and go get the food that's being served, that's being laid out on the banquet tables behind you, everyone like makes a bomb rush for the food, right? And then I noticed that Red Business Card is getting any food. So then I went up for like seconds and thirds, gonna eat the entire day. Cause like I was saving my stomach for this very event. That's the only reason I came, is so that I could basically get free food. And also to, you know, possibly bump into Red Business Card if he happened to be there. That was kind of a bonus for me in my mind, but mainly I was there to just support Big Sis and get my free food and take pictures in my Alice in Wonderland coated dress. But yeah, so I got like my 3 plates of food. Perhaps a salad for the lady? Perhaps not. Perhaps not. No, I got 3 plates of food. Not all at once. Okay, I like ate and then went back and then finished the second plate and went back for another. But I noticed that he didn't get any food. And I was like, are you not eating? Like, what's wrong? And he was like, oh, I'm not really hungry. So then I was like, all right, well, suit yourself. And I went up to get my next plate of food. But then at one point I was talking to a lot of people and exchanging business cards while the dessert was being served. And by the time I was done and I went back to check to see what dessert was left, it was all gone. So I wasn't able to get any of the dessert. I had to settle for just like another cup of tea, which is probably for the best anyway. But I was like, oh my God, you know, I get back to my table and I start talking to business card again. And I'm like, I really wanted to eat dessert, but there wasn't any left when I got there. And he was like, oh, really? Haha, that's so ironic because the only thing I ate was dessert, you know, because I did get hungry a little bit after all. So I ate the desserts. And I was thinking to myself, like, Why would you not get desserts for me if you knew that I was busy talking to other people and exchanging my business card? Like, was he also intimidated by the fact that everyone was also bomb rushing me at this ball too? Because like, literally, I'm not even kidding you. He was sitting behind me, right, in the table behind me. So literally the second that he left my side after our first little greeting at the beginning of the night, 5 guys, I'm not kidding you, one after the other came up to me to exchange business cards and throw themselves at me, essentially. So I don't know if that also deterred him, but like, how is that my problem? And I am not a lady of the night. I'm just a socialite. I'm literally just there to bring good vibes. But yeah, I was really annoyed that he, like, why didn't he have the sense or the gentlemanly instinct to get me a little plate of dessert after seeing me go up 3 times for the main course? I don't know if that's husband material. I'm sorry, I gotta say, but maybe it's a blessing in disguise that he got cold feet and didn't follow up with me afterwards. But still is watching every story that I post on WhatsApp. So disappointing. Oh, potential sugar daddy from one of the previous seminars as well, also properly introduced himself to me this time. I think he didn't recognize me at first because I'm usually dressed in like black or plain clothing. But once he recognized me, he got so excited. And you know, this guy's like touchy-feely, not in an inappropriate way, but he was like elbow stuff. And this guy, remember, the potential sugar daddy. So then he was like, oh my God, like you're here. I didn't recognize you. Oh, we should exchange line, blah, blah, blah. Something told me to not exchange line with him. I don't know. I feel like I would rather, like, I don't mind getting in contact with this guy through Big Sis, you know, as long as Big Sis is there, I feel like, okay, whatever, you know, he could be a potential sugar daddy. But I felt kind of hesitant, like giving him my personal contact information because I don't want to be in a position where like he invites me to something and I'm there, but you know, even if it's not one-on-one with him, like let's say his company is having an event and he invites me, I wouldn't want to go like one-on-one and have something weird happen, because like you never know with some of these older guys, as much as they can seem harmless at first. So I'm kind of glad that I dodged his attempt to get my line information, but he has my card, so he can always, you know, reach out to me on WhatsApp if he wants to. But yeah, I'm probably not gonna go for anything alone if he invites me somewhere or to an event. And I don't think he's interested in that either, to be honest with you. I think he's just kind of like a loud guy from Osaka. I think he's originally from Osaka. Yeah. The main office of his firm is there. But yeah, these people are hilarious. I'm so disappointed with Red Business Card Guy though. Like, what the hell? But I also think that he's kind of, he might be younger than me, to be honest. He looks like at least 30, but maybe 32-ish. I don't think he would be older than 36. It's just also kind of like a hard no for me. I'm not doing it. I'm not dating a younger guy. They're useless. This might be a good place to end it today because, yeah. I hit upon some of the important points though. Make sure you make a society card for yourself, ladies. Even if it's just something with your contact information, very handy. And I know that this is also region dependent as well, but definitely somewhere like Tokyo. Honestly, everywhere though, because I remember in Dubai also people were very, very like active about handing out physical business cards. There were a few guys at the ball that had digital business cards. So, I mean, I gave them my physical card and then I got an email from them later in my inbox saying, oh, this is so-and-so from the event. It's probably automated, but there was like a link to this digital business card website. So some people do that, but never underestimate the power of a good old-fashioned business card or society card. And you can't even use you can't use the use that you can't afford it because it's dirt cheap to get these made. Like I said, 440 something yen for these from Exia. So don't fall for those scam companies that charge you like an arm and a leg for business cards. You can even print your own if you have a printer at home, but that would probably cost more though in terms of raw materials than just getting them done at a print shop. Or I don't know about other countries or other cities, but definitely in Tokyo, just get 100 or 500 copies printed at Exia and you're good to go. It's not even going to cost you the amount of a coffee at Starbucks. Get a cute business card holder that reflects your style and makes you feel good and all of that. This one is getting kind of dirty already though on the edges. Like it's really pissing me off kind of. I I think I scratched the back too the first time I used it because I was using my Coach purse at the ball, which kind of has like a narrow opening. So I kept stuffing this in of my purse and it kept scraping against the zipper. So that is something that, yeah, you see right here. But it was going to happen eventually though. I mean, there's no shame in having your nice items be used, right?